12 Years a Slave is 2014's Best Picture Oscar win. So when it came out in 2013, it pretty much was one of the two most acclaimed films of that year. There's 12 Years a Slave and there's Gravity. Because it was getting so much acclaim and everyone knew what the subject matter was about, I went to see it and I was very underwhelmed by it. And I'll admit, this was one of those cases where I was in such disagreement with things that I just rebelled against it. Times change, people mature. I know that in order for me to get a bigger and better appreciation of this film, I needed a dry spell from this. I needed to forget lots of what I'd seen, come in as if it was the very first time I was watching this film ever. So that's what I did, and I do think that people still overrate this film, but still, the fact that it won Best Picture at the Oscars, it was one of the most acclaimed films of 2013. The amount of praise that director Steve McQueen got, and the cast, I do think that all that stuff is well earned, but it's the level of which everyone to this day claims like it is one of the top 100 greatest American films ever made. It's things like that where I simply have to disagree with people. But still, 12 Years a Slave, definitely a film that people need to see due to its accuracy of slavery in the 19th century. It's based on a memoir by Solomon Northup, and in the movie, he's played by Chiwetel Ejiofor. He's a free man from New York, but he's black. And even though he is pretty rich, talented, learned, has a family of his own, one day he gets conned and kidnapped and is sold into slavery down south, where he spends 12 years of his life, where he tries to really endure the cruelty, not only among his own self, but with everyone else around him that are also slaves. Because Solomon is a very learned person, but a lot of his fellow slaves are not, they are often bigger objects of cruelty than he is. And because Solomon is a man, and quite often it's the female slaves that get picked on worse than him and some of the other guys, due to how much easier it is for the slave owners. The movie does do a good job in showing that not all white people in America were racist. We see that at the very beginning because Solomon has quite a few rich friends who are white. And when he's initially sold into slavery, like the first guy that buys him out is Benedict Cumberbatch. And Benedict Cumberbatch actually likes Solomon. He thinks that he's a good guy. He thinks that he's talented. He's not really a racist guy, which is good. But after some time, Michael Fassbender comes in along with Sarah Paulson, and they're just the worst of the worst. Yeah, seeing that this isn't just a black or white sort of thing was a good touch on Steve McQueen's behalf. Chiwetel Ejiofor nominated for an Oscar for this. I'll admit, the 2014 Oscars, kind of a competitive year if you ask me, because in 2013 he had him for this. You had Leonardo DiCaprio for The Wolf of Wall Street. The winner was Matthew McConaughey for Dallas Buyers Club. Yeah, it was a competitive year, but the other Oscar winners, A1. The thing that I guess prevents me from really being so close with everyone in terms of being an all-time great is the movie, although it although it did need to show all the cruelty in order for the serious subject matter to be very honest. I wanted there to be more of other things happening. Of course, when Solomon gets out and reunites with his family, of course, that scene is beautiful, but then it's just written on the screen what happens to Solomon afterwards. I wanted there to be more of like some courtroom stuff happening where Michael Fassbender and Sarah Paulson get bigger comeuppance with such good brains and integrity to really make up for the cruelty that was happening beforehand. More than just physical cruelty among black people. Now I get it. Solomon Northup's book is, there's only so much in it, but because this is a film, people, and it's a very sad film, people are going to want to see not only Solomon getting out of the slavery world. So I get that because Solomon was in slavery for well over a decade, kind of destroyed his mentality, destroyed his emotions and everything. I think that if they would have shown more of Solomon in regular civilization, that really would have made the entire film more strong, more well-rounded, more inspirational, thereby an overall better film. But still, I do think that what we got in 12 Years a Slave is very well done, very well directed by Steve McQueen, well acted by all. Chiwetel Ejiofor having such an extraordinary film of such a sense of subject matter carried on his back like that. He's amazing in this. And just because I don't think that this movie is like an all-time great in general, doesn't matter. I still think that it's a wonderful film. I want to give 12 Years a Slave from 2013 3 stars out of 4.